Hello, good evening, very welcome everybody. Good to see so many people joining us again this evening. How you greet? Quick sound check, guys. Everyone can hear me out there. How you, Lukash, Cormac Kazan, Salazan, Nicole? How are you getting on? Sound is great, loud and clear, Kelly. Thanks very much for that, Daniela. Tamina Icarus, very good, very good. Hope you don't fly too close to the sun, but you know the story there. Hi, Eliane, hello, loud and clear. Yup, everybody coming through loud and clear. Very good, guys, very good. Interesting, guys. I've been chatting to a few of you during the week, or as many as I could, Anya, myself and the guys here, Will as well, that you've been talking to as well. Few of you said you couldn't remember my good old face. I know this is our last lesson, but I know lots of you are joining us anyway. But a few people ask me to put a face to the voice again. So again, I think I did it all back in lesson 1, but this is me again, just in case anybody forgot what I look like, okay? So like I said, a few people ask me about that, so there we go, guys, just introduce myself again. So with that in mind, okay, today we're going to be introducing Adobe InDesign, which is of course the industry standard publication application. Nikki Hayes says, and is that Photoshop too? Well, Nikki, I'm a designer, so what do you think? You know, what do you think? A little bit here and there, Nikki. Not too much, not too much. But anyway, guys, before that, I just want to talk about sort of creating your own business cards and also the process of designing for print and setting up your documents for professional printing. We've learned a lot about sort of how to design, but it's as important for any designer to sort of learn about what we call pre-press basics as well. Because basically, professionals in any field should always keep business cards on them, because you never know when you're going to meet them, or need them, I guess, and never know who you're going to meet. Because despite their small sizes, guys, business cards are one of the most powerful and handiest marketing tools by far, because they create basically a link between you and your new contact, and they give a good first impression, of course, if it's a good card. So we're going to be creating, it's a simplistic enough card for today's lesson, guys. We're going to be creating this card now later on today, or later on just in a short while. Kept it basic enough and simplistic enough, but I want to go through some ideas with yourself as well to give yourself some inspiration as well, okay? So first, I want to just actually go through some of the more sort of remarkable business card designs that I've come across. I've come across a few nice ones just to share with you, just for a little bit of inspiration as well. And we're going to talk about some what we call print processes now as well, guys, okay? Lots of great comments coming through. I know there's a last class, guys. Lots of brilliant comments coming through there as well, saying the staff has been great, support staff has been great. But thanks very much for that, guys. Thanks a million for all those lovely, lovely comments. Really nice to hear them coming through. But let's continue on anyway, guys. So the first print process we are going to talk about is letterpress printing. Invented way back in the 15th century by good old Johannes Gutenberg. And letterpress printing, I'm a big fan of this type of printing, by the way, guys. It's basically a printing technique of relief printing using a printing press. So it's a process by which many copies are produced by a repeated sort of direct impression of an inked sort of surface against the paper, okay? And it is very much a distinctive quality. It's quite crisp and tangible onto the paper. So letterpress, it works really well for branding and for identity development as well, because it definitely gives a sort of a stronger visual definition to the type of artwork, and it does have that tactile feel to it. It has that sort of special touch to it as well. This is why it's a really popular technique, especially for business card printing too. And you'll see a lot of packaging used anymore for using this type of technique as well, guys, okay? Okay, lots of people ask me there about exams, guys, okay? So I'll get to that. I want to go through the lesson first, guys. Lots of people ask me about exams, so I'll go through that with you at the end of the lesson during the Q&A as well, folks, if that's okay. I'm just more concentrated on going through the actual educational side of it here first, guys. So we will get to the exam prep and things of that at the Q&A, folks, okay? But guys, are we a fan of letterpress printing? Do you think it's a nice technique? I think you'll agree with that, wouldn't you? And this is a really, I thought this was a really simplistic way of doing it, but really special. A lovely, lovely technique here, using a bleed, as we'll discover now, what bleeds are all about, going all the way to the edge there as well. Really great, love it, says Emily out there. Yeah, I just thought, you can nearly feel like you'd reach out and actually touch it there as well. So it has that tactile feel to it as well, guys. Another print process that I'm a fan of myself as well This is what we call die cutting, okay? This is something else that can determine a business card's memorability. It's basically just a different shape, essentially. Now, my advice here would be don't go too nuts if you're using this particular effect, because you still want to keep your business card size, if that makes sense. Because if it goes maybe over the dimensions, or if it doesn't fit in a wallet or a card holder or something like that, it's generally going to get chucked in the bin. But die cutting is an effective way to make a business card a little bit more eye-catching as well. Cecilia is just asking a question, does letterpress need a specific type of paper? It wouldn't be a specific type of paper, but it would definitely be a heavier weighted paper, Cecilia. Essentially a thicker paper, if you know what I mean. So it would essentially be a heavier weighted paper, okay? So back to die cutting, and basically all die cutting is, it's as simple as this. If you think of it like being your die is essentially a big giant cookie cutter, and it simply just presses down then onto the paper. It could be any material, by the way, it doesn't have to be specifically paper, but we're dealing with it here. But that's what it is. You basically, you get a die created, basically presses down onto the paper and it cuts it out then as well, guys. Okay, so that's how you get that sort of die cutting thing to it as well, guys. And some nice techniques with this too. I came across a really memorable one. It's actually from a film crowd, a Munson Films. Okay, and their business card is actually in the shape, you can see it there, of the old tickets that you used to get in the cinema. Not sure if any of you out there remembered those. Okay, but that, I just thought it, you know, created that sort of decorative shape. It was very, very, very clever. Very, very clever as well, guys, okay? And another really clever one I came across was a German dentist, actually. And you can see the impression on most of his stationery there of obviously teeth marks onto the paper as well. So I thought, you know, it's a quite distinctive way to get your own personal touch into it there. But I thought, you know, very, very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed. Nikki Hayes agrees with me out there. Okay, moving on from that then, another process that I actually really like using. And it's not as expensive as one might think, depending on quantities. Generally, your print costs will depend on the quantities, okay? But once you go above a certain quantity, the print costs actually start coming down, guys, okay? But Spot UV, okay, I love this technique. I'm a big, big fan of it. As the name suggests, a Spot UV coating or varnish, it's basically applied to chosen spots or areas of the printed card. Now, this has the effect of highlighting and drawing attention to a part of the design. But like, can you think of any other ways that also adds a bit of dimension to the design, guys? Any other ways would add that dimension to it as well? Who is that? Fidelme, you have the texture. Philip there with texture as well. Bit of a 3D look, texture and reflection. Yeah, it's just like it has that effect of highlighting and drawing attention to the part of the design, but also having that sort of additional, what I would call nearly like a visual and tactile stimulus of having those varied textures on a single printed surface. And I love using it in ways like this, where you have sort of a gloss over a matte, if that makes sense. You have that sort of shiny, reflective surface over a very dull one, but you can actually use the two surfaces then to create your design. And I think it's a very professional, clean, crisp look as well. I really, really like this example that you see in front of you. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So, just a second there now, Samuel. There's a just missed that question, Samuel. Sorry, so I'll get back to it in a second as well. So that's Spot UV, like I said, really, really clever, really, really clever. And when it's used properly, you know, you can get some really gorgeous effects. We get on now to another process called embossing. Now, we're all familiar with this, whether we know it or not, to be honest with you. But embossing is simply the creation of an impression of some kind. Now, it could be decoration, it could be lettering, it could be a pattern. And again, this doesn't just refer to paper, by the way, guys. It could be cloth, metal, leather, plastic even, you know, so it's just, it can relate to any of those. But embossing is a really elegant process, and it changes the nature of the material, okay? It occurs basically by pressing raised surfaces and adding that new dimension to the object. A little bit like you would use a die here as well, but you're basically pressing up against the paper to make it, obviously a bit more 3D on one side as well. And, think of embossed seals, for example, give a regular piece of paper a little bit more weight. Similarly, we all get the sort of wedding invitations or things like that in the post. It can sort of change the entire meaning conveyed by the invitation, because you perceive it then as being sort of quite formal as well, or quite sort of high profile, quite elegant, I think, to be honest with you, So to me, embossing definitely makes things a little bit more pretty, a little bit more beautiful than they originally might be as well. Any ideas where we all use embossed artifacts every day? Any ideas what type of things we would use? Then we say embossing every day. Coins, actually interesting. Okay, leather, old car MOTs in the UK. Book covers, yeah, use a lot of embossing. But ATM, I think Joy is there. Yeah, even think of your bank cards. Even think of your credit cards. All of these have embossed, okay? Obviously, braille is a type of embossing as well. But, so it's a technique, it's not just a design technique. It does have practical issues as well, guys, okay? A few people coming through perfume packaging as well there. Yeah, very, very true. But like I said, guys, would you agree with me? I think it gives a very, I'm not going to use the word sort of sensual, but I think that's what it does. It definitely adds that touch to specific cards as well, guys. Really elevates them to a higher quality as well. And a technique that I really love to use with embossing as well, guys, even if you're not using ink, for example, if you look at the example on your screens now, Pandora, they haven't even used ink. They're actually just using the paper itself with embossing to create your text. And I think definitely that looks, very professional, very slick. And I thought it was a really, really nice example as well. Okay, and I also then come across just a few sort of examples, so you don't have to go nuts with your techniques, but just some notable examples I've come across too. I mean, as designers, we want our cards to be, depending on the area you're in, you can sort of, think outside the box a little bit as well, guys, okay? So a few lovely examples I came across with our colorings was Luciana Ferreira up there, a Brazilian graphic designer, by the way. But I thought her colours were brilliant. The typography, nice and playful, definitely gets her own personality into the design. And if we look down then at the sort of Marco down there then too as well, simply by using a really clever image. Okay, now there's no texture on that. But just by the clever use of an image, again, it raises it up, makes it very fresh and quite beautiful as well, guys. I think you'll agree too. And there are some other techniques then. You can start printing on plastics and things as well. So there's an example there from Vanderbuzz, who's an advertising agency out in the Ukraine, I believe. And they basically had the idea of mimicking an X-ray on their business cards, which I thought was quite clever. But probably one of my favorites that I've come across from both a design and aesthetic point of view was the Rhino Studios up there too. So here we have sort of imitation rhino skin paper and really stylized typography, that really stylized typographic logo too. I thought just very clever, very chic indeed as well. Okay, Momoko is asking, does embossing cost more than ink? Again, Momoko, what happens with embossing is your printer will actually create what is called a die. Okay, so that's whatever, it could be graphic, could be your text, whatever it is. It will cost you extra money, but the thing is, if you're getting a large quantity printed, the cost will come down, okay? Because once the die is made, it is made, okay? So it could cost you the same amount to get, say, 20 business cards printed with your die as it would to cost you getting 2,000, if you know what I mean, okay? Because once it's made, it can be reused then as well. So like I said, it can be expensive for small quantities, like most of the techniques, but once you go over a certain quantity, it's sort of, it does get a lot cheaper then as well, guys, okay? Peter says the Rhino one looks really, really funky. It is, yeah, one of my favorites, Peter, to be honest with you as well. Okay, guys, like I said, that's just some inspiration for people out there as well. Okay, a little bit of inspiration for people out there as well. But now what I want to do is go through what we call printing and pre-press basics. So while we've learned the importance of elements and principles of design, we've learned software techniques, it's as important to learn the skills necessary to basically pass off your projects to your printers so that they're successful and they run smoothly, and more importantly, they'll produce the work that you have designed, because we can run into some errors along the way. Anybody out there working the print industry? Just out of interest, guys, just give me a yes if anybody out there actually works in the print industry. Hannah, Ahmed, Carla as well, okay, Daniela as well, Jamesy, okay, Pauline is sort of. Well, guys, you'll probably understand a lot of this, and you'll probably agree with me that you still see errors probably on a day-to-day basis, okay? Probably on a day-to-day basis. And they're simple errors. And the errors come from us, generally designers, guys, so we just need to be aware of these, because there's nothing worse than paying twice for it, for example, for your job, or getting your product back and it just doesn't look the same way as you designed it. And if that is the case, it is usually one of these errors. Carla agrees with me straight away there. Yeah, okay, very good, very good. Okay, so we're going to go through the basics, guys, but these are fundamentals. And we will sort of know them by now, but I just want to hammer it home basically. So we have first color modes. We have then, of course, our image quality. We have the differences then in our text, okay? So there is a difference in printing text, and the color black we use for our text as well. So we'll discuss those two differences, our font choices then as well. And then we'll discuss things like our bleed marks, our crop marks, our trim marks as well, that you will need to include on your final document before sending off to the printer as well, guys, okay? Now, first things first, you need to get the mode right. Get the color mode right, guys. When we're printing, what color mode do we use? What color mode for print, everybody? CMYK, Dita? Yeah, exactly. CMYK. Yeah, guys. First things first. And again, you know, always make sure that each and every image or photo, whether they're raster images or vector images, make sure they're in CMYK format, not RGB. Now, while RGB does offer, in some areas, an actual greater color range, and that's one of the first things we discuss in our advanced color theory as well, the different sort of gamuts that we have in our different color ranges. But while RGB offers a greater color range and works well, obviously, for online, okay, it simply doesn't work when going to print. And any images that you leave in RGB mode will have to be translated into CMYK by you or by your pre-press operator before going to print. Now, if you leave this up to them, it's going to take more time and you could get some errors as well, okay? So like I said, guys, make sure everything is in CMYK. You can, of course, convert from RGB into CMYK maybe at the last minute and make some adjustments. Just make sure that you do that. Otherwise, you will get your product back, whatever it is, and you will see some discrepancies, guys, so just make sure, okay? Now, next thing then is image quality, and I think my printer friends out there will definitely agree with this. It shouldn't really have to be said, but 72 dpi, it just does not produce a quality image on press like it will online. So what should we aim for, guys? What should we aim for? Yeah, you should generally aim for 300, guys. Even I see printers now operating up to 600, okay? But generally 300 is professional enough. Now, depending on the project too, I've seen them go down, like newsprint, for example, will sometimes print in maybe 140 dpi, or if you've got maybe large billboards or something like that, they can produce maybe a slightly lower qualities. And sometimes, and they can work okay depending on the process. But again, guys, aim for 300 if at all you can. And it just means you won't be disappointed then as well, guys. You're not going to be disappointed. Again, you can imagine spending, you know, hours, days, weeks working on a project. You send it for print, you come back, and next thing all of your images look pixelated. It's, you know, it's not a good look, guys. It is not a good look as well. Okay? Now, okay, just a second out as well. Samuel is asking, use CMYK when I'm doing the logo or when I'm printing it. When you're printing it, Samuel, convert to CMYK. I mean, you can if you want, design it in RGB. I wouldn't advise it, but you can, and then you can convert to CMYK in Photoshop or in Illustrator then as well. That's what Photoshop is used for a lot, for converting to different color formats and things too. Okay. Okay, very good. A few people asked me there about, but will it make the file size so big if we work on a big poster? Okay, generally, okay, if you're unsure about these things, guys, ask your printer. As simple as that. Because, for example, if you're designing things like pull-up banners, which are quite large, they will generally take your file size at maybe 25%, but it's at the actual physical size. But your DPI will still be high. But like, if you're unsure about anything, guys, make friends with your printer. Ask them questions. They will steer you in the right direction. Okay. Now, this is another one that can catch people out, and I won't lie, it actually caught me out once. I learned my lesson once. I didn't have to learn it again, thankfully. But there is a difference in all your color blacks, would you believe? Okay, there's actually several different types of blacks when it comes to printing. But the two most widely used terms are what we call plain black or full black, or sometimes referred to as rich black as well. Okay, but when we talk about plain black is made up of one ink, okay? So we've got 0, 0, 0, 100. So it means your black is fully saturated 100%. But if you want to get that really deep black color, this is actually all your inks mixed together, okay? But just be aware, never go 100, 100, 100, 100. Can anybody give me any idea why it's a bad idea to boost everything up to 100%? I know my printer friends will know. The ink will run, says Jory, mud the colour, yeah. Basically what happens is, yeah, exactly. You've got too much ink on your actual rollers. So it'll oversaturate the paper, okay? And you'll get some mixed results too. Many printers will actually send it back to you. They'll just go, look, this is wrong, you need to correct it. But what happens is, if you boost it all up to 100, there'll be too much ink on the page. You'll have bad results, guys, bad results. Okay, so when to use the two different versions, all right? Now, when you use black in a program like Illustrator or InDesign, it actually automatically breaks down to your plain black, your 0, 0, 0, 100, where, as I said, the black is fully saturated and the other three are completely absent. But if you want, say, a background or something like that, or it's a larger area, then you can input your values for your rich black and you get that nice, rich, deep black. But this is where, this is the main concern about that, okay? This is what happens. For example, if you use plain black, or if you use rich black, excuse me, if you use rich black on maybe your text, maybe small amounts of text, this is what can happen. Anybody see what's happening here? If you look at the example there now, guys, what's happening here? Yeah, the bleeding, yes, it's blurred, and this is exactly what's happening. Because if you're using all four color inks, okay, even if your paper might move ever so slightly on the print, or maybe the rollers might move ever so slightly, you get what's called that sort of a ghosting effect. So you can see a sort of a blue hueish, sort of a cyan hue around your text there on the right hand side. Whereas if you use just one color, okay, it can't really move that much, and you're going to get a much clearer, crisper version of your text then as well. So you're not going to run into these issues, okay? So like I said, guys, if you're using black for your text, make sure it's set to that plain black, okay? Like I said, in InDesign and Illustrator is actually automatically set to that, but if you want to print a rich black, you'll actually manually input your values then. And again, a word of advice, if you're using your rich black colors, ask your printer first for the values, because each printer might have slightly varying values. They will give you the best response, because it does even vary. I've seen it myself even vary from printer to printer, even from country to country, depending on the inks that they are using, for example, okay? Okay, so just making sure now that makes sense to everybody before we move on, okay? Is that making sense to everybody there so far? It is. Okay, just a second now. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, good. Again, bear them in mind, guys. I've made one or two of these mistakes myself. Hopefully, by me making them, it won't happen to anyone else out there, all right? Okay, so a few more things to remember then just before we continue on into InDesign. Thankfully, you cannot do this anymore, and InDesign actually won't allow you to do this anymore. But you used to be able to do it in older packages like Quark Express and a few of those. When I talk about my fonts, what I mean by this is don't apply characteristics like bold or italics. So to give you an example, do you know if you open up, say, Microsoft Word or something like that, you can highlight your typeface. You can highlight your font, and then you can sort of press the B button or the I button to make it bold or italics or something like that, okay? This is what we call a faux style. It's a false style, okay? So if you did this in your final document, when you pass it off to your printer, again, you will get some discrepancies, okay? So, for example, if you want to use a bold font within the typeface, use the actual bold font. If you want to use an italic typeface or italic font, use the italic font within the typeface, okay? These are the genuine fonts within that typeface, okay? Otherwise, they might get substituted when it goes to your prepress operator, if they open it up on a different machine, for example. And you will run into some errors with this too as well. Okay, so just to make you aware of that too, guys. Nikki Hayes says, that explained it. I wondered what the difference was. Yeah, Nikki, like I said, thankfully in InDesign, it won't allow you to do that anymore, to be honest with you. Okay, so thankfully in that. Philip Campbell is making the same point, or add a stroke. Yeah, exactly. But this brings me on to my last and final point here now, guys, as well, okay? Liz is asking, would it be okay if you convert text to curves before going to print? Yes, it would, Liz. And you've read my mind, because this is just going on to one of my final points here. Remember in lesson 5 there, guys, when we were creating our logo? And I basically created outlines of my text. I basically converted my text to a graphic so that when I do that, I know that no matter what machine it opens up on, whether it's a machine here in Ireland or a machine in South Africa or in India or in Saudi or America, wherever it is, it's going to look the exact same way because my text is now a graphic, okay? And a lot of printers will actually ask you to do this as well. If you are going to do this, guys, make sure you save a copy, okay? Make sure you save a copy where your text is not converted to curves or converted to create outlines, because obviously you cannot then edit it after the fact. But if you do this, you can be essentially guaranteed that it's going to look the same. All right? Okay, so that okay with everybody out there? That should make sense as well. Yeah, I think that makes sense to everyone out there. Brilliant, okay. And then finally, guys, just before we continue, one or two more things to clear up, okay? These are our marks and bleeds and our crop marks and things like that, folks, okay? When we talk about our bleed, okay, so if we look at our main document here, or my white is my sort of main document, my bleed area then is area outside of my document that you're not going to see, okay, once it's essentially cut out, essentially is what happens. But if you want color or an image to go all the way to the edges of your document, you need to let it run over the edge, so that again, if the paper shifts ever so slightly on the rollers or something like that, that the ink is still going right to the edge of the paper. This is then cut off, okay? You can see my trim marks up here, just very lightly there. You can see sort of crosshairs there. These are your trim marks, so that when the paper is then cut, okay, your ink is going all the way to the edge of your paper. Down here then we have our slug area. I generally don't really use this. Your slug area is just area of your document that you might have some text for your maybe instructions for your printer, or if you're working with other designers, you might have some little notes down in your slug area. Again, you obviously won't see this after the fact then as well. And our color bars then are used by our by your printer as well then, just to adjust if needs be as well, guys. Okay? Okay, just a second now as well. Daniela, can you do this by making PDF to print? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Daniela, but yeah, basically what we do is we set up our document in InDesign, and then when we output it to PDF for print, we can add all of these in. But I generally add them at the start. Now you can do it at the end as well, by the way, it doesn't matter. But you can, you can do it at the end. But generally, set it up your document properly at the start, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing right now. So, give me just about 30 seconds here, everybody. Okay. Give me just about 30 seconds. Oh, just a second. Mary is asking, what's the difference between the bleed and the margin? Okay, the margin is contained within your actual document. So I'll show you now in just a second, Mary, as well the differences between those. Okay. So I'm just going to set up here for you right now as well. So give me about 30 seconds, guys. Going to open up InDesign and we'll start creating our business card. Now, and we are back there as well. Okay, just checking everyone can see my InDesign screen there. Everybody happy with that? Making sure everyone can see it. Yep, you can. Just going to move this up the page a little bit here. Questions seem to be acting up a small bit here. So, okay, now if you understand one Adobe application, you're generally going to understand the layout and format of the rest of them, guys. It generally all work the same. So what I'm going to do now is simply open up a new document. Going to go up to File, going to go to New Document, of course. And here we have all of our options, guys. Now, InDesign, as you learn now in your advanced course that you guys are, most of you are already on at the moment, actually. I'll be seeing you again tomorrow night. But anyway, in InDesign, like I said, you can actually set up for web, for different devices too, okay? And it gives you those options there. So your intent, you can set for print, for web, for mobile, lots of different options there. I'm going to leave mine at print for now, obviously. I want 2 pages because I want a front and a back, okay? Front of my business card, the back of my business card. I'm going to turn off my facing pages, okay? If I left my facing pages on, I would have my 2 pages side by side in my document. So for example, if I had a big, large middle page spread or something like that, or if I had a larger document with a few pages, I would leave my facing pages on. But for now, I'm going to turn them off, okay? Because I want them sort of one on top of the other, okay? So I'm going to click that off. Your page size then, you've got lots of different presets here, okay? A4, A5, there's even a US business card there. I'm going to just click that for the fun of it for a second. That brings up my width and my height here then as well. I'm actually going to just bring these down just to round up the numbers so it's easier for me to work with, for you to show you for demonstration purposes. But you can set your width and your height manually in there too. Then you can simply change your orientation to landscape or portrait. I'm going to leave mine as landscape. The number of columns is just a business card, guys, and I generally actually tend to set columns myself manually in InDesign anyway. So I'm going to leave this as 1. And your gutter then, as we know, is the space in between your columns. I'm not really concerned with that. Now, this is what I think Mary was asking me there about a few minutes ago. You can also set up your margins. Now my margin here is set to 12.7 millimeters by default. That's much too big for a business card. So I'm going to bring it all the way down to about 5 mil, for example. And I just set this up so I won't have anything over this. So it's not going too close to the edge of the page. Now you can set this to 0. It doesn't matter. It's up to your own particular design. But I tend to like to leave a little bit of a margin between the edge of the page. And making sure you've got your link turned on. They will all adjust automatically. If you turn off your link, you can set them individually too as well, guys. So it's up to yourselves. You might have different margin at the top or the bottom or the left or the right. And then finally we have our bleed, the all-important bleed. Generally, guys, 3 to 5 millimeters. 3 to 5 millimeters is plenty for your bleed. So I'm going to set mine to 5. I can see my link is turned on here, by the way, everyone. So once I do 1, it automatically fills in all the rest then as well. My slug area, I'm not going to be adding any superfluous information. I don't need that. I'm going to leave that at 0. Okay? Okay, so that okay with everybody so far? Okay, that should be okay with everybody so far as well. Who is that? Someone saying mine is showing up in pixels. How do I change that? If it's showing up in pixels, you probably have your intent set to web. Okay, so make sure your intent is set to print, but you can also change that in your preferences. Go to Edit Preferences and you can change that there too. So click OK. InDesign is notoriously slow sometimes, but we'll work around that. And here I can see, okay, I'm going to zoom out for a second. Now here I can see my front of my business card. If I scroll down the page, I have the back of my business card. So again, you can see my margin is actually my sort of purplish line there that I've set up, and my red line is my bleed. So I want all my all my color, my images, if I want them to go at the edge, I'm going to set it over the edge and put them out here, okay? So just making sure I get all that lovely color in on my business card. So I'm just going to move this over, try and make it a little bit clearer for people to see. And again, guys, like I said, once you know one Adobe application, the rest of them work the same, guys. You have your menu bar, you have your main menu at the top, you have different options depending on your menu or your tool selected. Your options panel will change up here. Your color works the same, your stroke works the same as Illustrator, for example. You have your layers over here. So we'll go through the basics of that as we're creating now. And more importantly then as well, on your pages, I can see I have one page and I have 2 pages. Okay, so I've got 2 pages there. We're not going to get into talking things like master pages and things like that today, guys. It's a bit more of an advanced topic because we're just creating a simple business card for today, everyone. So let's start at the start as well. Okay, Monique is just asking again, it's set to print. Okay, Monique, again, if you go up to edit, down to your preferences, down here you'll see then, and open up your general, you will see then your units and increments and things like that there. So open up your general and you'll find them all in there. Okay, so just to make you aware of that, that should be okay then. Now, so moving on, you can see there I'm on layer 1. Again, InDesign is a little bit like Illustrator in that you can have multiple images or bits of text or whatever you have on one layer, and it will sort of create those sub layers for you as well. But it's always a good idea, to have different layers and name your layers. I'm going to call this first one BG for background. So click OK. Now I'm just going to draw out. Okay. Now, one thing to remember about InDesign, okay, that everything is contained in what we call frames. So your text is in frames and any of your graphics are contained within frames. You can also draw out shapes, just like I'm going to do now as well. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool, click on that. Simply drag out my rectangle. I'm going all the way to my bleed, by the way, guys. Okay, so over the edge, all the way to my bleed. Now you can see if I look up here, or even the far side here, the same as Illustrator, it's filled to none and my stroke is set to black. So I'm actually going to switch that around now. Okay, so I can set my fill to anything at all. Go a nice bright red for people to see. And I'm going to set my stroke down to none. I don't need any stroke on it. Okay, but again, you can set your color manually in here too. So click on any color in there. Oh, my bad. I was on my stroke, not on my fill. So I'm going to set my fill back again. Okay, and now you can set oh sorry, I'm switching these around here, guys, so that's why that error is coming up there. Excuse me for that. But you can set these to whatever color you like then as well, guys. And what you can do is even save your colors too. So if I go for my colors here, for example, I can actually save my swatches. Okay, so I can actually save my swatches in here, and it's very, very handy. It means if you're working on maybe a document that has the exact colors across it, you can actually save the exact measurements of that actual color, which is very, very handy indeed. Trust me about that. Okay, so I just click that in there as well. InDesign is acting up on me a little bit. Set that to business card. Oh, my bad. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, by the way, to save your swatches, you can simply go up to create a new color swatch. Okay, and you can set this to whatever color you want then. So new color swatch, you can set your color to whatever you want, and you can actually even name it. So if I click off that now, I can name this now, business card red or whatever you want. And then you can use that across multiple documents too as well. Okay, so it's a very, very handy way to do it. Okay. Oh, yeah, never mind that because I already did saved, but okay, don't need that for now. Okay, so that is just basically drawing in essentially my red background there on that. That's my BG background there. Okay, just a second now. Why are you going to the bleed if this won't be printed? Well, just to show you, Ula's asking, why am I going to bleed if it's not going to be printed? Well, it doesn't, no reason why it wouldn't be printed, but it's just to show you, okay? Okay, so that's my background. Next thing I'm going to do is add in my graphic, my sort of little eye logo graphic that I use for my presentations. Like I said, all of your text and graphics are contained within frames. And this is the fundamental thing of InDesign. Everything is contained within a frame. So I select my rectangle tool, drag it out. It doesn't matter about the size for now. And what you're going to do is going to go to File, Place. Okay, Control D for short. Okay, but File, Place. And then you can select and navigate to wherever your graphic is. There's my little logo. Click Open, and it now fills up my rectangle here. And again, a few things you'll notice here. It's looking very pixelated, first of all. And why it looks pixelated is because InDesign is working at a lower resolution. Okay, but I can change this. It's working at a lower resolution by default, because if you're working on a really large document with lots of images, it's basically quite taxing on your computer. It's really heavy on your computer. So if I go down to Display Performance, okay, you can see it's got fast display, typical display, high quality display. So if I switch that to high quality now, you can see it comes in there in the correct format, guys, okay? But this is where people get a little bit confused. I've dragged in, or okay, I've placed my little icon in my frame here now as well. So if I go up here to my options panel, there's lots of options here, okay? I've got fill frame proportionately, fit content proportionately, fit content to frame, fit frame to content, lots of options there, guys, okay? So I'm going to cycle through these quickly. So if I fill frame proportionately, it's going to fill my image to the dimensions of the frame, but keep its own proportions, okay? Cycle through again quickly. If I fit content proportionately, okay, doing that, undo that, you will get some unexpected results. You just need to be aware of these. If I said fit content to frame, okay, it's stretching it out to the dimensions of my actual frame. So the dimensions of my frame weren't correct, okay? So basically, you need to cycle to these and make sure you click the correct one, guys, all right? I'm filling my frame proportionately there for now. And in that frame as well, you can see my little hand icon appearing. I can actually drag my graphic within my frame. So if I want maybe half it showing or something like that, or I don't want the full thing showing, I can actually drag it within that frame, okay? And it's not going to show anything that is not within the frame. Now, a word of advice, guys. Quick word of advice, try to have your images sized in say Illustrator or Photoshop before you bring them into InDesign. It's not recommended to go resizing your images in InDesign, okay? It's not recommended. You will get some unexpected results, okay? So do have them at the correct size before you bring them in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hold on my Shift and Control and just drag my frame, and holding down Shift and Control now will resize your image within your frame. So holding it down there. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Okay, I can position that anywhere in my screen. You can see my little pink lines start appearing. These are my smart guides. You would have seen them in Photoshop and Illustrator. The same things apply. But if you want to bring in some manual guides, just like we did in the Photoshop lesson, guys, you can simply start to drag from the edge and you can start dragging across your guides. I know my business card is 90 millimeters across, so I know 45 is about halfway, or is halfway. And I can simply push that into position then whenever I like. So that's how you add an image. It could be a photograph, a logo, graphic, whatever it is, guys, okay? Okay, now, next thing I want to do is just simply add some text this time. So click on your text, type tool, drag out your text box. Again, you can resize these after the fact, guys, just really matter. I'm going to call it DESIGN, and we're going to call it Shaw Academy, say. Okay, same as all the other programs, guys. Highlight your text. You can set the text whatever you want. I'm actually using for this one a free one called Ubuntu. I think my African friends might tell me what that actually means. I think it means humanity, as far as I'm aware. But I thought it was a quite nice one that I came across. And again, I'm a big fan of mixing my weights. So, you know, try to get typefaces with lots of weights. It's just a nice way, you know, to get that sort of visual interest into your designs too. So I'm just mixing up my weights there a little bit too, guys, okay? Okay, you can increase your size. Same way as other programs, guys, exact same way. I generally, for business cards, wouldn't go down below around 8 points. You can go down to maybe 6 points depending on your typeface. I generally wouldn't recommend going below sort of 8 points though, okay? So just to make you aware of that. You can change your color, of course. I can change it to center alignment if such is my want. Okay, lots and lots of control over it there, guys, okay? Again, you can drag that into position. Okay, position on the center there. Okay, that's how you add your text. If you want to add in some more graphical elements, like a line, for example, I was going to drag down this time, another guide for myself. I know my business card is what I set it to 50, so drag my guide down there to about 25, and I'm going to use my guide then just to drag or just to draw out some lines, and they'll then snap to those lines then if I want to as well. Set the color here to white. You notice this paper, by the way, guys, it doesn't say white because your paper is going to be white, so it's set it to that. There's no such thing as white ink. Okay, so set that down there. Again, you can change the stroke of it, the width. You can go mad, make it nice and thick, whatever you want, even the type of line it is. Again, very similar to Illustrator in that regard, you guys. So I'm going to Control C, Control V that, and drag that to the far side. Okay, perfect. I'm happy enough with that. Okay, you'll notice now, guys, just before one or two more things to finish, you'll notice that I have all my little guides are showing here, okay? A very quick way to get rid of all those in one go is to just click W. Okay, so click W, removes all of those, and that is my actual business card then as well, guys. You can see I'm zoomed into 300%, by the way, guys, so that's why I'm getting some distortion there. But if you click W, so I'm clicking on and off then, it turns all of those on and off, okay? So that is how we get that, okay? Just a second now as well. Guidelines, someone saying the guy, Brett is saying spirit of kindness, okay, is what Buddha means. Thanks very much for that, guys, okay? Thanks a million. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to go down to my second part. That's my first part. Second part is more or less the same thing, guys. So just quickly scroll down the page. There's the back of my business card. I'm actually just for speed's just going to copy my logo, Control C, drag down to my next page, Control V to paste them in. I can resize again, holding Control and Shift at the same time will constrain your proportions and resize it. Okay. And again, I'm just going to drag across my guides to get my center line. It's about 45 degrees there. Drag down again to about 25, was halfways. Okay. And this time I'm just going to start adding in maybe some nice little icons and things, okay? So very quickly again, I might put these on a new layer actually to keep things tidy. So first I'm going to draw out a circle. My ellipse tool, I'm going to drag this across, people might be able to see. So I'll use my ellipse tool this time instead of my rectangle tool. Use the ellipse tool, draw out a circle. You can make it any size you want for now, it doesn't really matter, guys, okay? You can make it any size you want. Select your color, whatever color you might be. Your grey there, for example. I don't need any stroke. I'm going to set my stroke to 0 or to none. Okay. I'm going to leave that there for a second because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in some more graphics. Okay, I'm going to bring this over again. Sorry, it's going off the screen there. Apologize for that. Bring in some more graphics. My ellipse frame tool. Drag it out again. Okay, because I know I'm going to fill this with a circular image. It doesn't really matter, but it's just handy. My shortcut this time, guys, I'm going to use my shortcut Control and D to place. So Control and D, and I'm going to bring in, say, my globe icon, location icon. Doesn't really matter there for now. I'll bring in my globe icon, click OK. Now, I know my globe icon is in there, okay? I cannot see it because it's against a white background. If I drag it down here, for example, I can see my globe icon is there then as well, okay? And again, you can go high quality display. There's my wee globe icon. So that's why I create a background, by the way, guys. You notice I create a background there. So I'm going to just drag my background underneath it. And you can see it there now appearing. And just you can align those then as well, guys, okay? So that was actually a little tiff there for my globe icon. So you can just align those up then as well, folks, okay? Actually going to line this right into the center. Just makes life easier for me. Perfect. Okay. Now, and again, you can even group those if you want. If you want to select the two of them, you can actually group the two images together so that you don't click one accidentally or click off one accidentally. So you're creating one sort of graphic out of the two images there, guys. Okay, so that's how you do that. You can simply copy and paste that now. Control C, Control V. I'm going to ungroup. I'm just going to replace that image now. So Control and D again to place. I'll bring in my location icon, for example. Replace it nicely. Control C, Control D, the whole lot. Okay, and just do the same thing. It's going to again click into my frame, Control D to replace, and I can bring in my other icon. Okay, so same principles, guys. Drag those into position. Okay, whatever I want there. My globe down to the center. Bring my location down below. And again, you can see my guides appearing there. You can, of course, adjust your X and Y's manually up here too, folks. Okay, so for positioning them, same principles. And you can see my smart guides telling me everything is lined up nicely there too. You can see my little green lines appearing there as well, guys. Okay, and then finally, just add in your text, exact same way, folks. Drag out your text box. I want to call it KEVIN or BETT. EDUCATOR. Okay, select all your text again. Control A if you want to do it. Bring it down to maybe size 10. Of course, you can resize your box if it's going off the page or anything. Just resize it. Set that to your font. Okay, I'm happy with that. Set it to bold. Maybe set my educator a little bit lighter. Okay, and of course, again, change your colors. Whatever you like, guys. I have my color from before, my Kevin's red color I called earlier on. I can set it to that. Again, you can set your alignment. Exact same principles, guys. All works the same way. Okay. Again, put that into position. And even with your text, you can align it to the center of your text box. See all these options up here, folks. You could align it to the center. It's going to set my line to the center. You can align it to the bottom. You got lots of different options there, guys. So I know that's going to be exactly in the center there now. So I'm happy with that. Move down my graphic. And the same thing again, guys. Then I don't need to type out my phone numbers and things like that. They're not right anyway. But again, you want maybe your phone number. It could be 23 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and again, you simply change the color to whatever you like. Change to my black this time. By the way, guys, you notice if I go over my black, you can see it's 0, 0, 0, 100. 0, 0, 0, 0, 100. So it's set to that plain black there straight away, folks. Okay, so just to make you aware of that too, it's automatically defaulted to it in InDesign. All right. And again, just position those then onto your page then too, guys, okay? And the same for your other ones, okay? But that's essentially the bones of your business card there, guys. You don't need to watch me typing out text. Again, click W to click it off as well. And you can start adding lines and things then too for more decorative elements. But what I want to show you really is how to save for output, okay? Now, so go up to File, okay? I can go to Export, okay? So File, Export. Probably should have saved it first. That's my bad. Call it card. So go up to File, go up to Export, and you want to save type as Adobe PDF Print. Okay, Adobe PDF Print. You have different options there, guys. Okay, but Adobe PDF Print, if you're sending it for print, click Save. And then this will bring up your options for you too. So you have your high quality print up here, which is this is what you want. If you want to maybe smallest file size, press quality, you've got options there. But high quality print. And the main things you want to look at here then, guys, are your marks and bleeds, making sure they are correct. Like I said, you could have added these after the fact. I tend to add them when I set up my document. So for the fun of it, if I click all printers marks, it'll turn on my bleed marks, my crop marks, all of those. Generally, you don't need them all. Your crop marks and your bleed marks are the main ones you want to concern yourselves with. And if you want to use the document bleed settings, simply click on that. And you can see then it's automatically filled in my 5mm that I had already included. Okay, now you can override that if you want to. Okay, but like I said, it's just handy to set up beforehand. Click Export, and Robert's your mother's brother, and that should be your business card then set up for print. Okay. Okay, just a second now, guys. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to take a quick sip of water now, guys, and get back to you there now as well, folks. Okay. Okay, and we're back there again then, folks. Okay, so I think that was, I went through a little bit of a hurry, but it's the basics of it there. How do you do cuts for printing press for die cutting? Ala is asking. You'll have to create an outline of the shape that you want to create. and this will be a separate file. So create the actual shape of the thing you want cut out and save this as a separate PDF then, and you give this to your printer as well. But again, talk to your printer about that, because each one will be slightly different as well, folks. Okay, just to make you aware of that. All right, so oh, sorry guys, my questions have just gone absolutely bananas here now, so apologies for that. Just give me 1 second as well. Okay, I think they're coming through there now, guys, as well. Okay, just a second. Sorry, guys, I apologize for this. I can't see my questions properly there. I think they're coming through there now. Okay, though. Okay, yeah, that should be okay again. Okay. Lam was asking about the difference between export and save as. Okay, well, I was actually exporting for print there, Lam. Okay, so you could save as well if you're saving as different document types as well. But generally, I will export. If I'm going directly for print, I will export it as print. Okay. Okay, guys, okay. Lots of people saying thanks for all the classes, guys. I really do appreciate it. Lots of really good feedback coming through there as well. Thanks a million, guys. Sorry, I have to move my questions again because my question box is going a little bit nuts here. So I'll get to now in a second, guys. First of all, before I continue on with the Q&A as well, guys, obviously this is the end of tonight's class. A little bit sad. It's the end of your foundation design course. But like I said, I just wanted, first of all, from myself, thank you all for all your efforts in attending live classes. And of course, for everybody who's been watching the recordings too. It is hugely, hugely appreciated, guys. You know, lots of people, okay. Yeah, lots of people joining us, so it's really, really good. Somebody who's that out there? Nicola saying it's not sad, Kevin, because we'll see you again tomorrow night. I know, Nicola, but for some people, they won't be. So like, I just want to take the opportunity, basically. And not just all of you guys. Want to thank the team here as well. It's not just me running the ship here as well, so big thanks to Will and to Naveen out there too, that I know lots of you have been in touch with as well. So without getting too teary-eyed, guys, you know, I just hope you got as much as you possibly could from this course, a sort of a solid technical and visual background. And, you know, with my help, you can go on to apply these and learn more future skills and learn more with me in order to be sort of as proficient and as confident as you can to produce, you know, the best quality designs that you can and that you're proud of, and that, you know, other people as well will admire and see value in too. Okay, I know each of you out there can become successful designers, even whatever that means to you, whether it's just a passion, as a hobby, full-time or part-time professional, it doesn't matter, guys. I know you can become successful. And, you know, as we know, as I keep saying, design is a skill. Skills can be learned. That's why you're here. That's why each of you is here with me today. So I just want to say it makes me proud, and I'm personally delighted to help everybody out there achieve their goals and helping you proceed on to any other courses you want to do as well, guys. I know I'll be seeing most of you again tomorrow night, but it's just, you know, it sort of wells me up a little bit when I see people leaving us as well, guys. But I know I'm going to be seeing most of you again for the advanced course tomorrow night anyway. So I know lots of people excited about that as well, and I've already been even catching up as we speak, guys. So, you know, brilliant to see, absolutely amazing to see all of that interest as well, guys. Absolutely amazing to see. I know you've already seen progress so far. A few people have asked me about the process of it, guys, just to make you aware. It is over the 12 weeks, guys, 3 semesters, sort of split up to 3 semesters, where we sort of split up the applications I'll be using between Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign, and also the type of theory as well. So obviously you have color theory, logo design, Photoshop, and Illustrator in 1 semester, things like branding, packaging, typography, infographics, grid theory, portfolios, resumes, all sort of split up, so you can join at any semester, of course, as most of you have done by now anyway. So you can join in and just really make any odds, guys. That's where I've personally structured and personally created the course for you. And I know lots of you excited, okay? Okay, because even if you look at some of the students where you are right now, guys, everyone on the foundation course that's progressed on the advanced course, this is a batch of my current students, for example. These are people just like each one of you out there, and some of the work that they've literally been sending through to me the last few days. Some gorgeous work from our color theory, for example, coloring in images, getting some gorgeous color into that and coming up with your own color schemes, even going on to branding our airlines and things like that as well, guys. So this is what you're going to be achieving as well. Also, guys, having a bit of fun with things too, like, you know, going a little bit out there as well. I'm a bit of a Marvel fan myself too, so even creating things like from scratch. This is literally from scratch in Photoshop. These are all students. This is all students' work on my course this month. Okay, it started exactly where you are as well, guys, and they've achieved these results in just a couple of weeks. So I'm so proud of them, and like I said, so proud of you as well, guys. And even some gorgeous logo designs come through. Literally got them through there about just 2 or 3 days ago from some students too. Fabulous work, guys. And like I said, they started just where you are right now as well. So you can look forward to being able to achieve these results, guys. This is your outcomes, even from things like our infographics. Really, really enjoy this class, actually, guys. Got some gorgeous work through from this, even some Pokemons. I know they're all the rage now out there too. But like I said, just want to make you aware of what you will be achieving, okay, in the space of that few short weeks, guys, okay. So some people have been asking me about that onto our magazine covers and spreads as well, and even down to our sort of stationery and our branding as well, guys. So like I said, it's only the beginning. You've completed your foundation course now, so well done on the first step of your journey. I know nearly everybody here has already signed up to the AG course and jumped on. Some of you are waiting for the next iteration. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter, guys. Either or, it doesn't matter. And I know you're all very excited about that because, as you know, the great thing is, guys, you can also move on to other stuff. So, whether it be other areas of design, whether it be something at all, it doesn't really matter, guys. You've access to absolutely everything. So from me to you, just want to say a big, big thank you for your participation. And if you've enjoyed this course half as much as I've enjoyed giving it, well, that means I've enjoyed myself twice as much as you. So thanks a million, guys. Hannah says, thanks very much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Really useful, Kevin. It's been inspirational, says Nikki. Thanks a million, guys. Thanks a million. Okay, so we've gone out to Q&A. One or two more things I just want to clear up because we're getting lots of questions on this. While I do have everybody here, lots of people ask about your exam at the start of the class. Sorry I couldn't get it. I think just trying to get through the class really is the most important part of it. So all about your exam, guys, okay? It is simple as this. Let me be clear from now, because I hopefully won't have to answer any more questions about it then. Okay, you're coming towards the end of your course, guys. You come this far. For your final assignment is 100 multiple choice questions. The pass rate is 50%, so you get a pass, merit and distinction depending on your grade. Once you start your exam, you have a 2-hour limit, and it is available for all non-members. I'm not sure if there is any non-members left out there. I think most people here are members now. But for any non-members, it is there until the 20th of November, guys. And there is that fee of $19.99 for non-members. It is, of course, free for members, guys. And I think most of you are signed up by now anyway, so you will, of course, be getting it for free. And, of course, as all you members know by now too, you will also get your free toolkits as well, guys. So your diploma, your exam and your diploma, and your course toolkits are now free for all of you members out there. For any non-members, it would be basically costing you the sort of the €40 or $19.99 by 2 essentially. So guys, actually for anybody just wondering, it sort of makes sense for anybody wondering that's going to do their exam. It would make a lot more sense if you want to take up the offer. Personally, I don't want to see anybody, being out of kilter or anything with this. So it just makes much, much more sense to simply sign up, become a member, and you'll get all of these for free then as well, guys. Okay, so for anybody considering that, just a heads up. Okay, I just want to make everybody clear on that. Okay, just want to make sure that everybody is clear on that. Is everybody clear on that, guys? Just want to double check, by the way. Yeah, okay, everyone is clear on that. Great, okay. For anybody not, guys, are still wondering, okay, because I don't want to hark on too long about this, I want to go on to Q&A. If anybody is still wondering about any of that, if you type info in there now, guys, the guys will be in touch. Okay, and get all the information out to you, but I think I've been as clear as I possibly could, to be honest with you. You can check your members area as well, guys, but a quick info for anybody still wondering, or if even you want to take all the headache out of it, if you want to type in your country, wherever you are in the world right now, we'll also give you direct links as well there, guys. So if you want to type your country wherever you are in the world, I don't mean type COUNTRY, by the way, guys. I mean type wherever you are. So the actual country you're in right there now, and we'll get those out to you guys. So like I said, thanks a million for everything, and we will continue on now, folks, okay? Just a second as well. Okay, sorry guys, again, sorry, my printing is, or my for Will and Naveen out there just wondering, my question box has gone nuts here. It keeps jerking up the page, so I'm trying to figure this out here. So again, yeah, so anybody wondering, a few people asking that, yeah, type in your country, guys. We'll get that out to you straight away. It just makes life a lot easier, okay? No questions asked. It's all in there for you folks as well. Like, it just makes sense, guys, as well, and the best of luck with all of those too. My students tend to have quite a high pass rate, guys, so I'm expecting nothing less. I'm expecting merits and distinctions all the way, folks. Don't let me down, okay? Don't let me down. But like I said, type in your country there, guys. We'll get them out to you there straight away there as well, guys. Okay. And for anyone else wondering, I think everything is pretty clear there so far, right? It does, oh, just to reiterate, guys, this Sunday is when the offer ends. Some people have been asking me about that. It is this Sunday, folks, so get in there. Don't leave it to the weekend. You will forget. And this is what happens to me. You will forget. Don't leave it to the weekend. Get in there now. Not going to make any difference either or, guys, okay? Now, okay, just a second. Lama asking, do we have a deadline for the final exam? Yes, Lama, up until the 20th. Just went through it there, up until the 20th of November. Obviously, for members, there's no time limit, okay? Just to make sure, guys, you understand that. If you're doing your final exam, if you're a member, there is no time limit. You can do it whenever you like, okay? And of course your recordings will also be there for you as well, guys, okay? So they'll be there for you. For non-members, they will run out basically 12 days after the final lesson, which is tonight, which I think is around the 20th or so, guys, okay? Okay, just a second now, guys. Again, I'm trying to get my questions up here. So let's see if I can do that for you. Just a second now. Okay, good. Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, thanks lots to Samuel, no problem at all. Haley Simmons, okay, more questions about the membership, guys. Okay, Haley, just a second, asking, do the 3 additional users get free access to the courses, or do they have to pay fees for the courses if they're added to your account? Okay, Haley, let me be clear on this for everybody out there. The 3 users get access to absolutely everything. There's no more fees associated with that. Okay, so there's no additional fees. You add them onto your membership. They each will have their own individual account. They can take whatever courses they want, either foundation or advanced. Okay. And there's no additional fees, okay? So just to make sure that, so there's no additional fees for courses. They can take whatever courses they want, Haley, all right? Okay. Anna Lindsay, does it have an option of vectorizing the final product? Anna, yeah. Okay, so you can create curves of your text. Okay, so if you select your text, right click, the same as you outline your text, you can create curves. It gives you that option as well. You can't, let's say, vectorize your images and things, for example. Okay, but you can do that with your text. Okay, so it's called creating curves. Now, just a second now as well. Okay, ask about the guidelines. I think that was answered there. Okay, Iman's asking about the advanced course. Iman, if you send us through a mail, we can sort that out for you. Okay, if you want to jump in, there's no problem at all, Iman, or wait for a particular period. But Iman, if you send us through a quick mail, we should get to the graphic.design@Shaw Academy. So graphic.design@Shaw Academy, you'll get in there. Just a second now. Tamina's asking, how can I create double illusion images? I think you're talking about sort of blend them together, to me, in a sort, I think is what you mean by that. That is something, yeah, you can do that with blend modes in Photoshop, Tamina, as well. Sort of double exposure, I think that's what you mean. So you can achieve that with your blend modes in Photoshop. Even if you go back to maybe look at lesson 3 as well, we go through that in a little bit as well, Tamina. But that's something we look at in much more detail in the advanced course. And even over on the Photoshop course as well, guys, if a few of you want to progress on over to that as well, there's no, you can obviously do anything you want. Okay. Sophie Casey, hi, am I late for the advanced course? Is there a way I can join late and catch up, or will I have to wait until the next one? No, Sophie, you can join up right now. Okay, you can jump straight in. It's just like I went through there. It's in basically sort of 3 semesters. So the semesters each roll into each other, if you know what I mean. So no, you can jump in straight away, Sophie. You can catch up. There's no problem with that, okay? Or you can simply jump into each semester then and attend live. But either or, Sophie, the choice is yours, okay? Okay. Edita, which formats do you have to submit your logo into a client? Edita, when it's for print, it'll be .eps, it will be your print format. I will generally then give them a PDF, a JPEG, and maybe a PNG if they have it for the web as well. But for print, it will be .eps, okay? Sophie saying yay. Okay, Sophie, thanks. Well, hope we'll see you soon. So as well. Brett Curry is asking, when will the exam begin? Okay, Brett the Curry. Oh, sorry. sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, Brett, I think, yeah, the guys are answering you there. Okay, you have up to 12 days from today, but once you start it, you will have 2 hours. Okay, you'll have 2 hours then to complete it. Okay. Wim is asking, how is the page layout set up to print the business cards on A4? How is the page set up to print cards on A4? Okay, Wim, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So if you've got like a smaller card and you want to fill up your A4 page. Okay, generally what you'll have to do is actually set up your document as A4 and then simply just duplicate your business cards so that they're filling up the page then as well, if your printer is printing on that A4 document. But generally, you know, if you're going to pre-press, your printer should do this for you anyway. Okay, but that's one way to do that. Okay. Just a second as well. Omar, thanks. You're really great, Omar. Thanks a million for that. Okay, I appreciate it. Lama's asking, my Photoshop files automatically saves a larger size and don't know how to reduce the size. Your PSDs will be a larger size, Lama. If you save them as a JPEG, it will be flattened, but your file size will greatly reduce. Okay, so your PSDs will always be the larger file sizes. All right. Salman is asking, for a member, no need to pay the €19 for certificate. Salman, that is correct. If you're a member, you do not need to pay for your certificates. Okay. Okay. Just a second now, guys. I have to excuse me. I'm missing some questions there, so I'm getting to as many as I can. So just bear with me there as well, guys. Okay. Lots of people saying thank you and can't wait to see you in the advanced course. I know, guys. Like, I really do appreciate it, guys. Okay. Okay, a few people asking too as well, guys. People asking too. If you check your emails and your student login area, okay, you will find your local currencies, guys. Okay, so the prices you see on your screen are obviously in pound, sterling, and dollar. Or sorry, euro, sterling, and dollar. If you check your emails and your student login area, simply log into your student area, guys, you'll find links there. These will be in your own local currencies. Okay, so check those, guys, all right? Okay. Okay, just a second now. Vectorizing question. Would one be able to put the final design through of the online vectorization programs, or would it drastically reduce quality? Yeah, and I would not recommend that. No, do not do that. It will drastically reduce quality. Yeah, there's no reason why you cannot do any of that in Illustrator anyway. But no, I wouldn't use the online things. They're online and they're cheap for a reason, and even the freebies obviously for a reason, you know. So no, I would not recommend that. Okay. Okay, just a second. Llama again, even when I save a simple PDF from PSD, it's still 2 meg too large to attach in an email. You should be given options, Llama, when you're asked to save, so I'm not sure. It could depend on your settings. I'd have to see it, Llama, to give you an answer on that, so I'm not 100% on that. It should generally, Photoshop will generally ask you for options whether you want to save as a large or small file as well, and the quality from sort of low to medium to high. But I'm not sure about your settings. I would have to see that. So if you want to even take a screenshot and send it through, Llama, I might be able to have a better look at that for you. Okay. Just a second now. Okay, sorry guys, questions are flying through there as well, guys, so if I'm missing any, to apologize. Lots of people just saying thanks a million for the course, really enjoyed it. Okay, no problem at all. Edita's asking, sorry, still about logo. Can I create a logo in PDF with no raster data and save as EPS file format? Can I create a logo? Okay, not sure what you mean by create a logo in PDF with no raster data. You can convert You can convert images from raster into vector in Illustrator Data, if that's what you mean. And if you look at lesson 6, that's what we did. We automatically traced raster or bitmap images in Illustrator, and you might have to manually adjust some of them too as well, okay, depending on the results you get. But there's that option there for you, okay. Oh, sorry, Photoshop. No, no, Edita. No, you're as well off go straight into Illustrator, Edita. If it's in a Photoshop format like a JPEG or something like that, okay, it won't be in vector format. Okay, it's not natural in Photoshop. It will be bitmap. Okay. Just a second now as well. Peter's asking, how do you export images in Illustrator if you just want to keep them as digital files? Again, Peter, you have options to save in Illustrator. You have options to save. You have lots of options actually. You can save them as general Illustrator. Or PDF is probably the handiest one for that, Peter. Because you can actually open up your PDFs back into Illustrator then as well. But PDF, you'll see in any machine. It's going to open up the same way. You're not going to have any special software or anything to open them up on different devices. Okay, so I would recommend PDF for that. Okay, Lloyd is asking about, do you guys think you'll add some more programming stuff like Python? Interesting question, Lloyd, because I was actually talking to Tig, who is our mobile app educator over here, and he was literally talking about that today. Okay, so yeah, so we are constantly adding courses month on month as well, as you know. So hopefully that should be coming down the line very quickly as well. Funny you brought it up. You're literally talking to Tig about that today, actually. Okay. Is raster the same as bitmap? Nikki Hayes asked. Yeah, basically, Nikki. Same. Yes, the same principles. Okay. They're basically pixel based is what they are, Nikki, as opposed to vector based. Okay, when I refer to raster and bitmap. Okay. Wayne is asking, out of which program will the business cards generally be printed from? Should it be done out of one of the Adobe programs? Generally, Wim, I would either Illustrator or InDesign. Okay, either or. Okay, but generally, and like I said, you're going to essentially be sending your printer a PDF. So you'll export into PDF, but you will generally be exporting from either of those applications. All right. Okay. Okay, just a second now. Okay, thanks a lot. No problem at all for that, guys. What's the difference between placing an image and opening it and just dragging it in? You won't have the same control over it, Ahmed. Placing an image within the frame will give you much more control over the actual image. So you can resize it obviously, but you can even section off bits of it and things like that. When you drag an image in, you don't have the same amount of control over it. Okay, so I do recommend placing them in those frames. Okay. Okay, just a second now as well. All right, guys. Again, my question box here. Just trying to sort this out. Just a second now. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. 1 second here. Now my question box is going through the roof here because people saying there's people congratulating me and saying they're signing up. So thanks a million as well. Mel is out there. Thanks a million, Kevin. Just signed up there. Looking forward to seeing you. Well, congrats, Mel. Looking forward to seeing you as well, guys. I didn't think there was that many of you left because the places are filling up very quickly. There's obviously a few of you left out there. So, like I said, if there is, get in there, guys. Get in there quick while the offer's there. Don't let it pass you by. I just don't need to be disappointed. Simple as that. Okay, so guys, any other question on tonight's lesson then? Okay. Can Adobe After Effects be a tool for graphic design? That's for motion graphics, Lama. Yeah, we use Adobe After Effects for our motion graphics and animation as well. So that's what we use that for. Okay. Dennis, thanks for the quick answers. Sorry, Dennis, if I missed a question there, send it through to me again. There's lots of stuff coming through as well. Philip Campbell is saying, can't see the advanced course on my login. Is it full? We should be able to get you in, Philip. So if you send us an email to the graphic.design@Shaw Academy as well, Philip, we should be able to add you in. Okay. I'm not 100%. I know the places were filling up, Philip, but look at, get in touch with me personally and I'll sort you out as well. So the graphic.design@Shaw Academy, Philip, will sort that out for you. Okay. In Illustrator, how do I create a transparent background layer? Andrew Simpson is asking. Andrew, if you don't create a background layer, it will automatically be transparent. Okay, obviously you'll be drawing on white, which is just the default color that you'll be drawing on. But unless you actually create a new layer, a new background layer, when you save that as an EPS or an AI file, it will actually be transparent. And say, for example, any shape you create in Illustrator, if you don't even try this, simply copy it and paste it, say, into Photoshop, and you'll notice it automatically goes on to a transparent background layer as well. Okay. Okay, Greet says, impressed with some of the questions, still have so much to learn. Well, sure, Greet, that's why you're here. You know, you're here to learn, as simple as that. And everyone learns at their own pace, guys. You know, don't be putting yourselves under pressure or anything. And it's a fun experience, guys. You know, it's learning should be a fun experience, and I hope you've had fun so far. Anyway, Mohammed is asking for how long will the student login be active. Mohammed, it'll be active up until I think it's the 21st of November. I think either 20th or 21st of November. Essentially, basically 12 days after the final lesson, Mohammed. For non-members, okay, so you'll have access to everything up until that date. For non-members, if you're a member, of course, it's unlimited. All right, there's no issues there. Okay. Okay, no problem at all. Paulina is asking, can I copy a few layers in a Photoshop file and paste it in a different Photoshop file? There is a way to do that, Paulina. I'll give you a tip. I don't have Photoshop open up here in front of me. I apologize for that. But what you can do is, if you even go back to what we did in lesson 3, if you open up all your Photoshop documents, or the two that you want to copy, one from one layer document to another layer, what you can do is just open up side by side, and you can literally drag your layers. You can literally drag your layers from one document then to another document. So if you go up to View, and if you tile all, I think it's not quite side by side, or if it's up to Window and go to View, you can view your document sort of side by side and literally just drag and drop across. It's probably the handiest and quickest way to do it. All right. Okay. What is monochromatic color? Tameen is asking. It is one color and all of its iterations from black to white. So it is say it could be gray all the way to white and then gray all the way to black. That's monochromatic. Or it could be any color. Okay, but it's one color and all of its iterations going all the way to white and all the way to black. Okay. Just a second now. Thanks to Kevin and the team for the excellent courses. Ray, thanks a million, Ray, and a big shout out to the team there as well, to Will Intervene out there too. Really appreciate it. Okay. Just a second. Wim is asking, I want to print myself very soon. Do I copy and paste my PDF to a new page in InDesign? Do I copy and paste my PDF into a new A4 InDesign page? Not sure if that'll work. You should be able to open it up and work in the .InDesign document. I wouldn't recommend simply copying and pasting from a PDF into an A4 page in InDesign. You could get some unexpected results depending on your colors and things like that. So you will generally need to recreate those elements in the InDesign document. Okay. Okay, just a second now as well. Thanks a lot for the info, says Mohammed. No problem at all, Mohammed. You're more than welcome. That's what we're here for. Okay. I think that's nearly it for now, guys. Okay, again, if I did miss any questions, got to as many as I possibly could. My question box is going nuts there, just with lots of thank yous and lots of see you very soon. So like I said, I do appreciate it. So any other questions on tonight's lesson then, guys, or anything else? Okay, I think that is nearly it, guys. I think that's nearly it. Yeah, lots of people saying it's vegan tomorrow. Okay, folks. Okay, I'll see you all very, very soon in the next classes anyway, guys. Yeah, doesn't just really matter, alright? Thanks a ton. Okay, thanks a million, Sabrina. You're more than welcome. Okay, guys, yeah, I think that's nearly it for tonight, guys. Okay, I think you've gone through everything there. For anybody still wondering, guys, just to make sure, this Sunday, guys, let me reiterate that finally, okay? But this Sunday, guys, I wouldn't even advise leaving it that late. You will forget. I don't want to be getting emails and phone calls from people on Monday going, sorry, Kevin, I forgot. Okay, please don't put me in that position. I don't want to be in that position. So get in there sooner than later, guys. Okay, and for anybody, any other issues, send us through that email to graphic.design@Shaw Academy. Okay, so for the final time, guys, for me, I know I'll be seeing most of you very, very, very soon, and it's a pleasure working with you. It really, truly is. And delighted to see everybody's enthusiasm. Great to see everybody out there so enthusiastic. So thanks a million, folks. And so for the final time, this is Kevin, and I am designing off, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.